Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra, Kaye, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. The purpose of the Demetra Kaye Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like to say hello to everybody. We are not live, but we'll be live later on at 5 p.m. Central Time with another great topic, and we'll have that discussion live with you, so y'all stay tuned with that. Today, we're going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter Plaza, if you will, in Washington, D.C. being removed, ordered to do so by the Trump administration. So I'm going to show y'all a video of different reactions and things like that. And of course, Donovan will get into that discussion. Now, I will say this, we'll start off with this, and typically we'll go into something else. That's just kind of what we do here. But nevertheless, it's going to be a great show. In the meantime, Donovan, what say you?
What say me is welcome to the podcast, you guys. Great to have you guys back with us. Please, on the way in, hit that like button. I guarantee you, we are not going to solicit you for any money. It is absolutely free to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm and helps them decide to see more of these great discussions from Demetra Kaye. Also, for those of you guys that want to contribute to the program, we have ways of doing that. We got a scrolling banner at the bottom there. You can do it by Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Money Order, all this other stuff. Please also do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play, Apple Store. Also, as a quick reminder, do not forget, if you haven't done so yet, I believe it's the Black Expo in Ohio. Demetra Kaye, the African Diaspora News Channel, Brother Phil Scott will be in attendance. So for those of you guys who want to meet that awesome crew, that's the way you can do it. First ticket is free. The rest of the tickets are, you got to pay for it. But hey, one for two, you can't beat that. Something's with this. Something's free, something's free. So that's a good thing. But for those of you guys that want an opportunity to meet Demetra Kaye and pick her brain, hopefully, you guys can do a question and answer and all that other stuff. It's a great way to do it. You can go to Demetra Kaye's Facebook page. You'll see the advertisement there. You can also go to my page. The advertisement's there as well. Get the information. Hope to see you guys there, and hope it'll be a great expo for you guys.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So as you guys may or may not know, the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington was removed due to political pressure from the Republican-controlled Congress and Trump administration. Also in March of 2025, which we're in now, right, Representative Andrew Clyde introduced a bill to threaten to withhold federal funding from the city unless the mural was removed and the plaza was renamed Liberty Plaza. Okay. Facing these threats and the potential loss of essential funds, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser ordered the removal of the mural to focus on pressing issues like combating significant federal job cuts impacting the city. Now, it says the removal process began on March 10th, which was yesterday, and is expected to take 6 to 8 weeks. The area will be transformed as a part of D.C.'s America 250 mural project, inviting students and artists to create new murals across all 8 wards. The Black Lives Matter mural was initially painted in June of 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, symbolizing the city's support for the movement against against racial injustice. Its removal has elicited mixed reactions, reflecting deep divides in public opinion on race and governance. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show y'all a video of people having different reactions to the plaza being removed. Again, they started doing that yesterday. It's going to take upwards of 8 weeks to have it completed. So here we go.
Black Lives Matter Plaza and the mural that's going to be taken down today and erased, essentially.
It's a sign of the times. We have a whole different type of person in the office. And to me, it almost seems like he's saying Black lives don't matter. It's a sad world, sad nation we're in.
This is something good that the city wanted to do for African Americans.
Some residents in the local community have gathered around to watch this take place.
The fact that you're removing it, you're erasing it, it's like you're trying to erase our history.
This iconic painting has been here for 4.5 years. It represents a symbol of activism and resistance. But why is this happening? Well, DC Mayor Bowser was given an ultimatum by Republican lawmakers: either paint over the slogan or risk losing federal funding.
It's just petty and hateful and wrong. I'm totally against this. Totally.
I don't believe that this is happening. I just thought it would always be here. It's a part of history.
You can tear up the concrete, but you can't erase the history. You can't erase how people feel about this plaza.
I can't even talk no more. I'm lost. I'm at loss for words right now.
US Representative and Republican Andrew Clyde introduced legislation that also called for the area in downtown where I am now to be renamed from Black Lives Matter Plaza to Liberty Plaza.
I'm Black Lives Matter every day, 24/7. And I know the contributions that black people made to this country, that they think by removing the word black and removing the word indigenous and removing the word discrimination and racism is somehow going to erase the history of America and how America became great. No, it won't. No, it won't.
Donovan?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, I can see both sides of this issue. I really can. But unfortunately, if an organization, let's say we're in Chicago and they make a mafia plaza, if mafia has a negative connotation to it, do you think it's a good idea to put a mafia plaza up to honor, the mafia and all their sacrifices that they've done for this country, helping you pay your rent with high interest rates, things of that nature, right? And the reason I'm saying that is Black Lives Matter has a black eye on its reputation, right? As far as I see it, it was the biggest scam within the Black community. And this is my opinion. So if you've got that black eye, and when people, like, if you talk to the average grassroots person in general, and you say Black Lives Matter, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is the negativity of the organization within itself. You recently had a Black Lives Mayor in North Fulton or whatever that city is. He was a Black Lives advocate that went to Africa. I mean, the three ladies that started it, look at the negative connotation that goes with that. So you really got to, at least the way I look at it, you really got to look at the context of what Black Lives Matter means today and how people view it, right? So for me, I am one that will always say, if you think you've never done anything, you never will do anything. That's why Black history is constantly being erased. So we have this Black Lives thing going on, right? And they're trying to erase it. Where is the CBC to defend blackness, so-called blackness, if this is a great thing? Where is the CBC? 60-something members of the CBC and not one statement? But then again, when your CBC is controlled by first-generation immigrants, it's not a priority to them. So, it's history, but what has Black Lives Matter accomplished within our community? That's what I look at. What have they accomplished? Yeah, the symbolism of having it out there, that's great. It makes you feel good. But what has it accomplished? Did any of that money funnel down into the Black communities that was supposed to funnel into the Black communities? No, it didn't. I'm speaking for myself. To me, Black Lives Matter was a big grift on the death of George Floyd, and it did not benefit nobody in the Black community except those activists that worked in the individual spots and the people that formed it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so of course people had different reactions to it. The theme I think I took away from that was history. They're erasing history. It's like they're trying to erase us, Black people and things like that. And I'm like, y'all need to get out more, okay? First of all, we know that Black lives should matter. We know that Black lives don't matter in America. Now, we're not talking about the organization because, again, like you said, the organization is defunct. It was defunct when it started. It had nefarious and ulterior motives that really had less to do with Black people, and obviously had a lot to do with things that really didn't have anything to do with Black people. But just seeing those people lament the way they did over the erasure of Black Lives Matter Plaza just tells me that we are very indoctrinated with symbolism. We're totally indoctrinated with symbolism because we've been taught for a very long time. Yeah, if they rename a street, I mean, hell, Martin Luther King Boulevard is in every Black neighborhood. And how does that Black neighborhood look, right? And in that Black neighborhood, there's a Democrat that's attached to it. And whether it's city council, Congress people, and look how the community, now the people and the community itself behaves. Look at the culture of Martin Luther King Boulevard. There's usually a lot of things you really wouldn't want to be going down there for in the day or the nighttime. So, but we've been conditioned to think that symbolism is actually something. Naming a street, think about it. They named a portion of Washington Black Lives Matter Plaza, where cars drive up and down all day long. People trample on this, that, and the other. So to me, if you look at it that way, it's like, is that really a flex? And of course, yeah, we know they named it after George Floyd was murdered, when Black lives did not matter, right? But again, it happened in 2020 when Biden and Kamala were in office, and they said they was going to be doing all this legislation, George Floyd Justice Policing Act, and all this other stuff. They never got passed, never wanted to get passed, because again, they gave the Black community things like statues or taking statues down, the Confederate statues and things like that, Black Lives Matter Plaza, and we were okay with that. We thought, well, finally we're getting somewhere. Finally we're being, recognized. But it's like, so you guys attach them moving a street to removing history. Like I said too, my argument has always been, we whine about what they not teaching our kids in school. We whine about them not recognizing us, but it's like we don't even recognize ourselves in our own home. Most of our children, I'll say most, a lot of our children are super ignorant, don't have no knowledge of self-help because the parents are ignorant and have no knowledge of self. But yet you think a street is supposed to give you knowledge of self because they put some big giant yellow letters all across the street, Black Lives Matter. Well, the other thing this is too, and this is where we're going to have to really sit down and just sit what I'm about to say. We cry about the white man saying Black lives don't matter, but we got shoot 'em ups in the neighborhood on Martin Luther King Boulevard all day long, and we don't scream as loud as that. Put a camera in those people's faces. Hey, murder is an all-time high in the Black community. What do you feel about that? Would you attach Black lives not mattering to that? Well, no, it's not the same. Why? Because you're taught, and listen, I'm not ever going to absolve white supremacy of the things that they have done and things that they are doing. But some of that stuff is on us. Black lives should matter the most to Black people. So stop whining about them removing streets and statues and all kind of other stuff. Teach your children about who we are. Teach them, if we never had a street that said Black Lives Matter, you still Black and you all that and then some, regardless of what white supremacy says. And yeah, what Trump and them is doing, I would venture to say is racist. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not lie to kick it. It is racist to target that street. Want to name it something else, liberty. Well, liberty means what? It means some sort of freedom, right? Well, we know most people in America, and it's not even just Black people, a lot of white people finding out you ain't really got that much liberty because they taking your asses up off them jobs, right? What is it, almost 70% of white people losing them jobs on the federal level? So everybody's having a rude awakening, but nah, we never going to be mad because they taking Black Lives Matter. And then my thing is too, y'all go and interview Gloda Dean and all of them. Whoa, I just don't like it. Well, did you like it when you signed and lined up to vote for Kamala and them all these years and all the Democrats and we are exactly where we are? Did you like it then? I don't know.
The whole situation there, it's kind of very telling because here's the thing for me, and this is why I am very disappointed in Black leadership in government. What do we stand for? What do we stand on? If Black lives really mattered and that thing was really something that was a symbol that rallied our people, why does it take them to tell her, a Black woman mayor, that if you don't remove it, we're going to stop your federal funding? I would think her response is, well, then go ahead and stop the federal funding because we're standing on business. But she didn't do that. See, this is why our generation is not built like the generation of the 1950s when they did the Montgomery bus boycott. They stood on business for over a year and walked and sacrificed. For some reason, we have been taught not to sacrifice our guilty pleasures. If I was the mayor, I would say, go ahead and withhold its principle. This is for Black people. We can't be bought. But she's basically telling us we can be bought, and the mighty dollar speaks. And I get it. This is why when all of these people that are losing their jobs and stuff, I have no sympathy in regards to people losing their jobs, because you're not guaranteed a job in this country. Capitalism in its brutal form is what you are seeing. Are you guys in a capitalist system? Then what are you bitching about? It's just amazing to me how the mighty dollar dictates how far Black people in today will go about standing on their principles. Where are our principles? So I just think it's embarrassing that we could be bought that easily. Yes, holding that federal funding, would people suffer in DC area? Yes, they will suffer. Every year we hear about veterans sacrificing this, that. Veterans are suffering. Yes, we're suffering, but we're standing on business. It's just incredible to me. It just takes just that. Oh, let's get rid of it quick.
And I would disagree just a little bit, or maybe a lot, because I there's a lot of dead bodies on top of hills, and what I mean by that is that's not a hill that I think anybody should die on. I'm with her, and I don't know her political stance. I don't know a lot about her, but yeah, I don't need to die on this hill. The street ain't saving no lives. This street ain't making the poverty level come down. It's not erasing homelessness. It's not doing any of that stuff. But them withholding federal funds, yeah, that could harm all the things. I don't know what she's trying to do, but that she could potentially trying to do. So that's not a hill that anybody should die on. Yeah, erase it. I don't care if you name it your mama. I don't care if you name it Trump's Mama's Plaza. I don't care, because it's the work that matters, not the street. Right. And I'm not going to, jeopardize probably what Washington D.C. don't already have behind fighting with Trump. It's a street. It's symbolism. It means absolutely nothing to nobody. It has not moved any mountains, molehills, or nothing for anybody. It's at best a tourist attraction. Oh, that's nice. Yellow brick road says Black Lives Matter. But other than that, what is it really doing for people? Nothing. So I wouldn't be mad. I'm not going to blame the Black mayor for not standing on business, because for what? What am I standing on business for? This means nothing to me. It doesn't. And I'd have to look my people in the face and say, well, I stood on business. I stood 10 toes down. I died on this hill, told Trump I ain't removing nothing. And then he don't give the money. And then I start telling my residents, oh, we can't do this because we don't have the federal funding. Oh, yeah, because I stood on business with Trump over something that's absolutely nonsensical.
Right. No, I think you misinterpreted what I was trying to say in that aspect. What I'm saying is, what is the whole point of it? From the very beginning, when they started to paint that stuff, it really wasn't important. Like, I agree with you. It really wasn't important to have the Black Lives thing. Yeah, it's symbolism. That's all it is. So what was the point of painting it out there if it doesn't mean anything? That's what I'm saying. Our leaders constantly sit up there and they deal with symbolism and they don't deal with substance. What is she bringing to the community? What did Black Lives Matter bring to the community? Absolutely nothing. And if you're not going to stand on business, whatever that business is, then don't stand on business and foolishness. Great, you get rid of that. But let's look at Mayor Bowser. What have you brought to the DC area in regards to the Black community and whatever? And, I've been to DC several times. Andrews Air Force Base is in that area. The Pentagon and all kinds of stuff is there, right? And I'm going to tell you, Chocolate City, great. Baltimore's right up the street there. Great big Black area. But the thing is, it's amazing when I go there, just right behind the White House, a couple of blocks, you're talking about Beirut. So, again, it's been 4 years with that symbolic plaza there. And fundamentally, not a lot has changed in that Black community. And we have to start calling out these mayors and these stupid symbolism that we constantly make us feel good, looking at that video, what was the common denominator in that video? They mostly interviewed women, older Black women from a different era that are indoctrinated to love symbolism. And I'm not trying to make it negative toward them. I'm just trying to show they're not that far from the upper room, and they want to retire in peace. They want peace in their last days as they see their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren that can't ever buy a house if things continue on the way that they're doing. The symbolism in our community, it just has to stop. We have to take care of business first.
Yeah, so Black Lives Matter Plaza, rather, it wasn't one of her initiatives, I guess, for racial justice or injustice or whatever. But even at this juncture, and I don't blame her solely. Again, I don't know a lot about her. I just kind of looked. She's very big on climate issues, from what I could see. But this is the result of white supremacy. This is what this is, But the other thing too is, once we stop looking for validation from white people, then none of this is going to matter. As I always say, they wouldn't be taking those books out to school if they knew we had them at home. They're not taking the Diary of Anne Frank out of schools. And y'all know why they're not taking them out, right? But us will whine and complain about, oh, they don't have these books, or taking these Black books and this, that, and the other at home, out of school. And I'm like, do you have it at home? Well, no, then why are you whining about what the white man don't have? And why are you foolish enough to think that the white man should validate your Black children as being Black by teaching them something you should be teaching them? Also, they're not going to teach them the right way anyway. They're still teaching Martin Luther King. Now they added in Malcolm. Before, he was public enemy number one. They hated him, obviously, for the end results. And Abraham freed the slaves. They're going to give or take somewhere around there, but they're not going to teach you. That's actually slavery and all that is American history. So they're not going to actually teach that. But the other thing too is we wouldn't get those things if they didn't think it mattered to us. If they thought that we would turn up at the thought of a Black Lives Matter street, they wouldn't give us that stuff. On the other hand, Trump and them wouldn't be so eager to remove it if they knew that we didn't give a damn about that. If we said, and they wouldn't care to remove it. They know that it's going to tug at the heartstrings of the symbolic Democrats who champion that, and they really think they got something done for Negroes there in Washington. That's what they're doing it to. I don't even necessarily think they're doing it as much to Black people. I think they're doing it to the Democrats, the Black Democrats, and all the people who cut for that nonsense, because they know it's a sore spot and it's a talking point for them, so they can go back and forth to keep people distracted. Ultimately, that's the goal of capitalism, keep people distracted. But yeah, if they knew we had a shoulder shrug, see, they would have interviewed me there. I'd have been like, well, don't ask me no stupid shit. Stupid stuff. Don't ask me nothing stupid. Okay? I don't give a damn about Black Lives Matter Square. I really don't. I didn't even come here for Washington for that. It's here, great, beautiful, whatever. But I don't care if they get rid of it. I really don't. They could put Trump's orange wig and paint that there, and I still wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. They can name it KKK conjunction, and I would not care at all. Next.
Very well said. Very well said. I hope you don't mind if we transition into something that's very important. I'm a big proponent of women's sports. I big WNBA supporter. Recently, Demetra, I just have a question for you. You're an educated woman. I went to college myself. I'm sort of educated, I guess. I took economics and stuff. Somebody asked me, they said basically, oh, well, how did if they lost 10 million over a 25-year period, all of a sudden they lost 40 million last year, even though they had record numbers of people because of Caitlin Clark. I said, well, you remember last year was the first year they had chartered flights. They had chartered flights. That's going to add to their bottom line, which is going to kind of killed them. They're also expanding to 2 more WNBA teams. Here's my question, Demetra. As you heard, Angel Reese recently said that they want to sit out if they're not getting what they want. They're not even making a profit. This is the only league I know that can operate 25, almost 30 years in the red and expand operations, expand salaries and stuff. Because, you know, a lot of people joke and say that it's the welfare National Basketball Association, you know, because they're being subsidized by the men. And she says she's going to sit out. And a lot of, you know, we're going to strike. Now, as an economics person, and, you know, and I talked to my niece, she has a degree in economics from Spelman. And she said that if you strike, that would even make the situation even dire, and that might even close the business completely. I don't know if you heard her statements on that, but I know you're familiar with the WNBA. I took you to a few games. I know you weren't interested. You weren't interested when you went. What is your take on the WNBA and the economics? I can't believe these women all went to college and they don't understand if you do not turn a profit, you cannot increase salaries. As a matter of fact, you need to be laying off and closing the doors. Well, what is your take? And then this Angel Reese girl, I don't know if this woman wants to be a basketball player or a city girl. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, so I heard her statement. I was under the impression, I don't know. I was like, is she serious? Maybe she was joking because it kind of was like tongue in cheek. I forget the young lady she was having a conversation with. It was on a podcast.
Yeah, Carrington. She's the girl that poked Caitlin Clark in the eye.
Okay, so Carrington, that's what she was speaking to. So I don't know if she was serious, if she was joking, because she said, well, we'll just sit it out. They were talking about the rookies coming in actually and how they were going to potentially get paid more money than them. And so it was like, oh, she's like, yeah, well, we'll have to sit it out. That's kind of what they said at the end of the clip. I just have a couple of questions because I hear a lot about the chartered flights and things like that. Who is they chartering these flights for?
The players. Remember Brittany Griner
when they started doing it though?
Last year.
Why?
Last year because the women were demanding.
No, it was one woman in particular that amped up all this stuff. Don't they? Caitlin Clark.
No. This was before Caitlin Clark. They had done the chartering before that.
At the level they were doing it last year.
No. The year before, when they were going through the airports and stuff, it was really bad because the girls were sleeping in the terminals and stuff, waiting for their flights and stuff. They were missing flights, and so the WNBA Act was that. This is before Caitlin Clark, and they said, okay, we're going to give you chartered flights. That happened this year, the year that Caitlin Clark came in.
Okay, so if that was the reasoning behind the WNBA, because they were missing flights and sleeping in airports, which I don't think you should have your players sleeping in airports. I think that's kind of, jacked up. So I don't know who to attribute that to. Yeah, I'd imagine it does cost money to do that. I don't know. I just feel like the people who are complaining about it, they probably need to go and watch these games. I know the tickets aren't as much. They were probably last year because of the rivalry and all of that. People need to participate more. We know it does take money in order for, any organization to thrive. Where there's no money, then, things get funny. But as far as Angel Reese is concerned, I think we got to remember too, the Angel is 23, 24-ish, give or take 24. So in a larger scheme of things, she's still a kid, right? And kids, they say silly things sometimes. Clearly, she doesn't have the life experience that somebody who's older would. So I think that she should be given a little grace. And I will say this too, and maybe it's just me, but it's all, to me, it seems like when Black women or Black young women say things, it's scrutinized to death. But white women and everybody else say something that it might get a little blip, but doesn't get the conversation, or they don't get dressed down to being horrible people. They're not often extended grace. And that's what I see when I see Angel Race. I don't like a lot of the stuff I see her do, like run around half naked. And, I don't like that. But then the other side of that is when I hear grown men, Shaquille included, talk to her and say, well, maybe y'all need to run up and down in some some booty shorts. I think you should know better, because Shaquille, I'm quite sure, has a daughter her age. So it's like, at what point do we look at these Angel Reeses and say, yes, she's an adult? And I'm not even talking about the booty shorts as much, but I'm talking about the grace. She's going to say some stupid things, because that's what you do when you're evolving and you're maturing. Clearly, she needs a different circle of influence to say, hey, Angel, beautiful girl, we know of you because you're a basketball player, all that other stuff. You could, but should you, type of thing. She's got a podcast, she's making money. And as I said, as I was watching it, I didn't necessarily get that she was serious. I don't know, maybe she was. I just kind of thought it was just kind of rolled off like, haha, that type of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's my thing with this, and this is why I think she's getting a lot of backlash. You are trying to build this league. It's a league that brought her to prominence to where she's at. If she didn't play basketball, nobody wouldn't even know who this girl is, right? So it's just like in the early days of anything you're building up. Like if you had a restaurant, if you're an employee of the restaurant and you're bad mouthing the restaurant, how long are you going to be working there? You're not going to be working there very, very long, right? And what she's got to understand, she's 24 years old. Like I said, I get it, whatever. She's still young, but this is her craft. This is what she makes money in. She is well aware of the problems the WNBA has in financing. Think about it. You're going in there, she's making $70,000 a year. That's her base salary. And unfortunately, she's like a lot of these women that think they should be making what Michael Jordan made or what these NBA players are making. That isn't how capitalism works. You live in the capitalistic system. You've got to build, your league up. And unfortunately, this league is being subsidized. Now, even though they gave the chartered flights, which made them lose more money, and Caitlin Clark brought more eyes and brought more attendance to that particular team. They're getting a new TV deal or something like that, whatever, which is going to raise the salaries. Of course, they want to do what they got to do, right, to help them out. But here's the thing. You have to build the league first, because if it wasn't for this, you'd be overseas playing somewhere. Good example, Brittany Griner got caught up in Russia, but went over there, made $1 million. So, her immaturity is going to kind of hurt the league in regards that, okay, you're bad mouthing a system that everybody sees is still growing and, is being subsidized, whatever. And you should be thankful that it's kind of like a federal employee. You should be thankful you even have that job, if you got it. You're not guaranteed a job, because technically the WNBA should have closed 3 years after it actually happened.
And I was just looking here because I was actually looking for a salary, which I didn't get to yet, but it said that post in regards to her saying women, WNBA women's basketball, we should be getting paid like NBA players is false. So she didn't say that. Somebody lied on her, and it's a fake narrative.
Yeah, no. A lot of women have said that. I didn't say her particularly. A lot of the old guards.
Yeah. So she said it's a lie. She didn't say that. I was trying to see exactly what she's making.
Yeah, her base salary is about $76,000.
Yeah, about 75. I don't know. To me, I just feel like there obviously needs to be more money there. There has to be a need for you to get a raise. Like you said, if I'm working at Taco Bell and I ain't selling no tacos, or tacos ain't being sold, then I'm probably not going to get a raise. I'm probably going to get laid off. That's what happens when a business is underperforming. They trim the fat, and they typically, lay people off or whatever the case is. So there just needs to be more of a demand for it. And I know last year they broke a lot of records and things like that. Maybe they just need to keep doing those things, adding, I don't know what they need to add to it. I'm not a sports fan, although I do know about sports. I just not want to sit up and watch sports all day. I don't
Yeah,
have the
we know. I
time.
took you to the game and you were on your phone.
No, I mean, I doubt it. I don't even think social media was up and popping like that. It might have been, I don't know. But I mean, I like going to games and stuff. I just don't. I'm not loyal to a team, or I gotta, going crazy over teams like some people like Donovan, right? The Cowboys. Um, but I understand how it works. You need people, butts in the seats. Need butts in the seats in order to get paid. Movie theaters are the same way. People stop showing up, and they close the movie theater. So you might have a performer, an actress, or basketball player, whatever the case is, but the people stop showing up, the money stops showing up, and then you have to have that uncomfortable conversation about, well, you did a great job last year, but maybe when things get better, we'll bring you back. You know, so I just think it's common sense. But again, like I said, in regards to Angel Reese, I think she is just a part of a larger conversation, and that Black young women, I think they need a little bit. I don't want to say they need a little bit more grace. I just think they need grace, because a lot of times they don't get that. They're thrown out there, and without any room for grace and mercy, any room for redemption or correction and things like that. So I actually like what Herm Edwards was trying to do. I don't know if he still does. It sounds like maybe he does, the symposium with rookies. I like that, because he's giving them the ins and outs financially, life wise, mate wise, and all that other stuff. I think they need to implement that in every aspect of, I mean, hell, not even sports, but just anything in general, right? You're transitioning, because I have a niece. She's getting ready to turn 18 in a couple of days. Yeah, a couple of days. She's getting ready to turn 18. And she's like, oh my gosh, I need $30,000. And she's got all these scholarships and stuff, right? I said, girl, what you need $30,000 for? She says, I need to get me a car. I just need to get my life together. I said, first of all, you're going to be on a college campus somewhere. You take the transportation wherever you're going, or whatever the case is.
MIT, one of the big ones. Yeah.
Right. And I said, you're 18, you're 17, going to be 18. You're going to chronologically be an adult, but you're still a kid. And I said, stay in that moment. Nobody is telling you, you got to go out there and get jobs and take care of yourself. You kicked out the nest. I said, your parents aren't telling you that. Your aunties ain't telling you that. Nobody's telling you that. I said, so go and be a kid, and, transitioning into adulthood. Learn what there is to learn. Don't rush. Take your time. Go do your studies, and just be in the moment. I said, nobody's putting that on you. And I felt bad for her in that moment, because it's like, why would she think that? Nobody's telling her that, but I don't know. I just think, not just because of her being a Black girl finna be a woman, but just in general with that age range, they're taught, just wait for it. Oh, the pressure is there. It's going to jump on your back. And then you're going to have to try to figure out what to do with it. It's like, no, go to college. Let us handle the rest of that. That all that ain't your concern. Just go and do great things. Because I told her, I said, every other race sends their children to school. Don't expect for them to have to go pay for apartments and cars and just have this, because it's hard to be a student and learn how to be a student in life at the same time. Yeah, you're going to learn how to do both of those, but you should gently learn how to do both of those, not under duress, and pressure. You should learn how to do that. That way, when you want to go out into the world after you got your degrees and stuff, you say, okay, I struggled maybe a little bit, but it wasn't anything traumatic. So guess that's what I'm saying. You don't need to be traumatized. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of brought that up too, because for a lot of those people that don't know, I'm very sure most people do know, when we're going to talk about different categories of cultures and groups. Black people, when they go to college, most Black students spend 50% of their time worried about if they are going to be on that campus next semester, because it's a financial need. So they spend most of their time worried about the financing of their education, rather than being a straight student like the other groups. The other groups don't worry about that. They're just students. They got their little backpacks. They're playing hacky sack, on the campus between breaks. But the Black kids are constantly looking for loans, and rightly so. But what I'm saying is, we should be able to send our children to get this education and be straight students. And I'm going to knock on wood. My youngest son, he was lucky enough to where he didn't have to worry about financing his education. He went there and became a straight student, walked out with the master's, and is doing great on his own.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's the way it should be. It's planning and a whole host of other things. My niece, she's very intelligent. She's been in STEM since the 6th grade. So she's got some college credits and things like that, but she's just got scholarships from everywhere with money. Okay, that's the most important part, with the money attached. So it's a blessing. But I just wanted her to know nobody's making you, get out there and get on a stroll of life. Nobody's making you do that.
Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. And she's like, okay, and I get it. We're all 18 once, and it's like, oh, now I got to be an adult. And we think we know, but you don't really know. Life is on the job training. It is. I tell that to people who are parents. It's on the job training. You can read all the books you want. Yeah, and it's good to listen to your grandmas and grandfathers and everybody give you advice. Those things help. But yeah, it's on the fly. It's like, oh, nobody told me this was going to happen. So it's on the job. So I'm one of those people. I'm a big proponent of grace and mercy to everybody in all, aspects of life, because you are learning. We're humans learning how to be human. Now, some people messing it up. Okay. And they know they messing it up. We ain't talking about them. We're talking about the people who are really legitimately trying to do something in life. And we're not really giving it a training manual per se. Now, I know somebody say, oh, the Bible, it's a training manual. If that's what you ascribe to. Okay. And I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying that's what you ascribe to. But life in general, yeah, you're going to learn something. I mean, you're going to learn until you die. You're going to come across things that you never knew you would come across, even the day before you die. Not saying you're going to know you're going to die, but you'll come across those things and, out of all the things I've seen, I never seen that, or whatever the case is. So we have to learn how to give ourselves grace and mercy, and other people grace and mercy as well. So
absolutely, yeah. So again, the economics, it's amazing to me that these women have, and most of them have come through college, and I'm very sure a few of them have taken an economic class, and they know that if you're not making any money, number one, you shouldn't, if you're building up your organization, you shouldn't badmouth it. Number two, if you don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on in the negotiations, maybe you need to go to the negotiations before you start talking what you really don't know. They are going to get a new TV deal, and hopefully that will help increase salaries and things. And again, I know a lot of people can say, oh, Donovan's always bashing women. Here's the bigger thing, what you guys don't know. I am one of the biggest supporters of the WNBA. I am one of the biggest supporters because women are the only group of people that play the pure form of basketball. And what I mean by that is they play together. Male basketball is individualistic isolation. It's really entertaining, but the women play a pure form of basketball, and it's going to get better. And I'm going to say this for the ladies out there. They would be doing a lot better in their financials. The WNBA would be doing a lot better in their financials if women would support the WNBA. That is one of the biggest Achilles heels of why the WNBA is not turning a profit, because women do not support it. 50%, over 50% of the NBA is supported by women. Think about that. Makes sense. So if women would support the WNBA, it would be doing a lot better financially.
Well, they better not be counting on me. I ain't supporting none of it. The NBA, WNBA, unless they gonna write me a check, then I'll support it. But I ain't giving all that spare time. Another thing too is really quick. I saw the interaction between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. I guess LeBron James went up to Stephen A. Smith and basically told him to keep it Bronny, that's his son's name, out his mouth. Of course, Stephen A. Smith is a sports commentator. It's what he does, right? He talks about sports. And I guess LeBron James didn't like the critique of him. So there's been mixed reactions. People saying, well, that's what the father's supposed to do and all this other stuff. And then some people are, if you're like me, is like, well, keep him at home in bubble wrap and don't let him out the house ever. You know, he's playing with the big boys in the big league, and you don't want nobody to say nothing about him. Listen, I saw Bronny play the first time he played with the Lakers in that 5 minutes, and then I went back to doing what I was doing. But it doesn't sound like he's there yet. I'll be nice about it. It doesn't sound like he's there yet as a player. So it's like, because he's your son, nobody's supposed to say anything about him. You know, and that also gives to the argument that, well, he's only there because of you. So he's there because of you, but then nobody can say nothing about him without you running up on him. I wish he would have ran up on me. Well, not really, but I'm just saying, if I was Stephen A. Smith, I would have said, suck, if you don't get your lesson, let me be nice. Then take him home. Take him home. Take him home. Put him in a padded room where he can be nice and safe and protected, where nobody can say anything to hurt his feelings or critique him as a player. Keep him on. And don't run up in my face again. Have a good night. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, you bring that up. You always have these people, and I think me and you did a show on it, when they were saying, you know, if you had a son or a child and you could put him in a position, would you do it? In the corporate world, yes. But in combat sports or things of sports, no, because it's his physicality that he has to make it on his own. So LeBron put his son in a bad situation, and I also blame Bronny, because you didn't have to do what your dad said. You're a grown man making your own decisions. So I use the analogy of Muhammad Ali, the best fighter that ever did it, right? Name the greatest. He has a son. A lot of people don't know that. He has a lot of daughters, but he has one son. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He says, well, I'm the champion. I'm going to give the belt to my son. Now he's the champion. That isn't how it goes, bro. He has to get in that ring and prove himself to himself. And that's when you're in sports, the criticism comes with it. You have to make it on your own. Dad can't help you. It's like those guys that go into the military, you know? Hey, your dad could be the general. Your dad could be the president. Well, we know if your dad's a president, they could put you in a position. But the point is, you most likely have to do it on your own. Matter of fact, you know, like when I went in and people found out that my parents were in the military, I had a greater expectation because of my parents. So for him to run up, and I think he's doing a boycott of media, he put his son in that position. So he has nobody to blame but himself. The boy was not ready. Everybody knew that. But what did he say? I want to have my son playing the NBA with me. Okay, you had that moment. Great. Get back to the G League. He's not ready. Just because you're LeBron James's son doesn't mean you're LeBron James. Michael Jordan had two sons. They played basketball in college. Did Michael Jordan, the greatest, allegedly? I don't think Michael Jordan's the greatest, in my opinion, but he's up there. He's one of the greats. Did Michael Jordan lift one finger to help his sons make it in the NBA? No, because he realizes for them to be respected as men, you have to do it on your own. I'll give you the advice. I'll give you the ins and outs of it, but you actually have to go and play. And if you play sorry and you're sorry, the criticism comes with it. So LeBron has nobody to blame but himself.
Yeah, so that I just thought that was funny. I was like, what a sucker. That's what I was thinking. What a sucker. Like, what kind of son are you raising? Don't worry, daddy's gonna take care of it. I know they said some things that hurt your feelings. It's like, well, get your game up. That's what I would have said if that was my son. Get your game up.
Life ain't 22, 23. How old is he? 22,
something like 23? That. Yeah. I said life ain't always gonna tell you what you want to hear. I don't care how much money your daddy got. It ain't always gonna tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes you're gonna hear some unkind things. Especially if this critiquing is to make you grow. It's not to slow you down, it's to make you grow. But if you can't handle that, then yeah, stay home. Stay home out of the eyesight of television and all that other stuff. But I just thought that was a horrible, horrible look. And it's like, damn, if you think your son is being made fun of now, you just wait till after this airs. So anyway.
Right. You're a big fan of the Ball brothers and stuff like that. I mean, three talented sons, two of them made it, one of them, well, they all three actually made it, but talented sons, one son, he's doing something else.
rapping. He's got a pretty,
Yeah.
up and coming rap
Yeah.
career.
Exactly. And and again, he got critiqued severely because he was the heavier brother, the more solid brother, whatever the
Right.
deal is. But in high school, he was the one that scored the most. He was the scoring brother in high school, but when he got to the college level and then he had that incident in China, kind of derailed him, whatever deal. But that comes with the territory. But that does not take away from his father. His father defended him, but defended him in a way to where he had to be responsible for what he did. You know what I mean? And all this other stuff. Like I said, I love when the fathers are involved, but there does come a time where you have to say, you know what? I got you to this point because Bronny should not be in the NBA right now. He shouldn't even be in the G League right now. He got there because of a participation trophy that his father is this and that and this. And he shouldn't be there. And everybody knows it. And LeBron just can't accept the fact that, you guys, when you procreate with another person, 50% of your genes and 50% of the other person's genes are there, which means your genes, if you're genetically gifted, is watered down or it could be enhanced. It's just luck of the draw. It seems to me, Bronny, they list him at 6'4", the boy's 6'2", okay? But that's how they do the listings and stuff. It seems to me he got a lot of his genetics from his mother. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is his dad is 6'8", 6'9", or something like that. Bronny is 6'2". So there's like a meeting of the mind. So he didn't get the height. He didn't get the thing. And it seems like the mother is more dominant. So the expectations that Bronny is going to be like his father, that's totally ridiculous for people to even think that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest player that ever played, he has a son. He has two sons. One of them played basketball. You don't hear nothing about them because they are not their father. It's just that simple. It's very rare. Kobe Bean Bryant. I think LeVar Ball said this. He said that when you're a father, let's say like LeBron, he's genetically great. He's a star athlete, whatever, but his sons aren't, right? His son isn't, whatever the deal is. But then you got a Kobe Bryant whose dad played but wasn't a star. LeVar played, he didn't play in the NFL, but you know what I mean, whatever the deal is. But his sons are a star. Do you see the stark difference? The lesser father being athletically gifted, the sons are superior. The fathers that are genetically gifted, the sons are kind of here. And that's pretty much how it works. I mean, it's very rare. Like you got Deion Sanders' son, who's doing really well, but he plays a different position too. So that's a little bit different. But that's pretty much how it works. And like I said, Bronny needs to man up and tell his dad, sit your ass down. Thank you, Daddy, for where you got me. That was a great moment that we shared together, but I got to make it on my own because nobody's going to respect you as a man because your daddy got you here. Nobody's going to respect you. In the business world, totally different. We're talking about sports.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, too, Bronny might not even really want to be doing it. He might just be doing it to, please his daddy. So anyway, we'll be back here in a little bit. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. If you guys see fit to help the show, there's ways to do so at the bottom. Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you all in just a couple of hours. Peace.